quick update. Flowers in the front salad planter have been pretty happy with the nice weather we've had. If you watched my cut and come again lettuce video, you'll see it was just been like 2 weeks ago, and you can't even tell that I cut it all down to the stalks. It's all come back beautifully. And I've noticed this variety of lettuce, nothing seems to be chewing on it all that much, which is nice. I've got some pretty new growth coming in on my lavender. This dill is getting nice and bushy. It needs to get put in the ground soon. Look how happy the cilantro is though. Pretty soon it's gonna start getting so hot it'll bolt, so I'm gonna probably pull this pot in and keep it in the house in a window and put it out on cooler days and maybe at night to get some fresh air. But fresh cilantro is a wonderful thing to have, especially on tacos or if you're making fresh salsa. And once we have fresh tomatoes out of the garden, I will absolutely be making salsa. Looks like this one is halfway to turning into a snap pea. And this one's headed the same direction. I love pea flowers, they're so pretty. And we do have our first snap pea. Finally! That's exciting. I think it's the only one so far though. This lettuce down here is looking super pretty. Probably gonna have a salad with dinner tonight. So you can see the situation at my front door is getting a little out of control. This is typically what things start to look like when I am starting plants for the big garden out at the family plot. And it's not just here. This is my shelf with grow lights in the garage, and it's a little hard to film because sometimes the footage goes funny in the fluorescent lights, but you can see the bulk of this shelf right now is full of separated tomato starts. And I expect now that they each have their own space, they will grow pretty quickly. These are the only ones that have a few real sets of true leaves. I started them well in advance of the others because they are a cherry tomato variety, a sweetie pole cherry, I think is what they're called. And I expect they're gonna produce probably fairly easily a lot quicker than some of these others, just because they're smaller, the nature of a cherry tomato. And so that way we have some sweet tomato snacks to hold us over until some of these guys can get big enough. And these are my peppers. All my peppers fit in one corner because I had a bunch that didn't germinate. That was sort of a test experiment with some seeds that I had saved. And I'm glad that I didn't totally rely on those because none of them came up. Now we know. A lot of these ones are the orange sun bell peppers that I got from Botanical Interests. And their leaves are going a little yellow, some of them. I'm not 100% sure why. I'm pretty sure they haven't been overwatered. It could just be that they're reacting to the fish fertilizer. I thought I watered it down pretty well, but maybe I gave them a little bit too much. I think they'll be alright. These are, I think, the little shishito peppers. They got planted well after these bigger ones. So some of them are growing a little funny, but I've got lunchbox peppers, I've got shishito peppers, I've got orange sun, and a few jalapenos. These are a pretty interesting variety. Principality Borghese, something like that. I'll have to do a video telling you guys exactly which varieties of tomatoes and peppers I'm growing this year and talking a little bit about them. These are a micro orange hat tomato. They stay very small, very small, compact plants. Supposedly these are excellent for starting with kids. They're a good kid size, classroom size tomato. And my nasturtiums. I was really afraid that they wouldn't come up because the seeds got left in a hot car for a couple days and I thought for sure they'd be toast. But we've got just a little under a 50% germination rate, which honestly, considering that they were half cooked, I think is more than a reasonable effort. We have another shoot coming up on the ginger. And it's got a couple leaves on it. I had so luck transplanting okra like this the first year, and then the second year we just direct seeded it. And I think because of the weather, it just took a really long time to get started. So we'll see how this goes. Like I said in my video about best tomatoes for beginners, make sure you try things 2 or 3 times at least before you completely write them off in terms of either a variety that you're trying or the methods that you're using, because there are so many variables that you don't want to think something's not going to work after you just tried it once, because you can't possibly know for sure in many cases, not in all cases, some cases it's obvious, but in many cases you can't know for sure why something did or didn't work. Oh, and I have these 3 little guys. This one, and that one. Those are lemon seeds that I grew out of a grocery store lemon, and they're doing all right. We got a few more that sprouted. These are purple wave petunias. This is the planter where I will put my cherry tomatoes, so I don't want to fill it too full up. But you can see how many actual plants there are in here. If I wanted to, I could probably separate this into 3 or 4 sections for different plants. I'm just going to pull it into 2 because I just don't have that much planting room, and they'll still grow just fine this way. They'll spread out. That's what wave petunias do best. This thyme doesn't spread out the same way this oregano next to it does, so I know that I have plenty of room to plug a little petunia in there. Planting this thing a little bit densely, but nothing else really goes in here. This is for the most part, my herbs only planter. Oh Maya! Oh Maya! He's sniffing prickly stuff.